Today is Saturday, May the 29th, so this is the summary for the whole week. And I want to show you just how well our technical indicators, especially the Chiku span, have been holding up. Here's the Dow Jones, and you can see the Chiku span has been riding on top of the clouds. It did last week get support on the 50 and then moved up. So there's two technical indicators that I want you to watch in other charts. The NASDAQ is showing something different now. Look what the NASDAQ did. The Chiku span actually got support on the cloud, support on this candle, but then because of this gap 26 periods back, it slipped through. Found support on the 50, but now it's still below the candles. But look what we have up here, another gap. So we're going to keep an eye on this, which is now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday of next week. Let's just see if the Chiku span will click through there. And that means that the NASDAQ would likely be moving, in this area here. Let's just open this up. This is where the Chiku span, meaning the price, would likely be moving, right in here, all next week. Let's just keep an eye on that and see if that actually happens. The S&P, after dipping briefly below a candle, popped up and continued to get candle support. Like the Dow, it also found support on the 50. The VIX volatility index is below or is in the quiet zone. So this is a time where we'd expect the S&P to be moving higher. Now on some of our key stocks, Apple is indicative of the NASDAQ. You can see that the Chiku span did get support here on the 78.6 and the candle, resistance on the 50, and then fell below the cloud. So it's going to suffer the same fate as the NASDAQ, but you can see here that our stochastics are oversold on the slower moving stochastic, and the faster moving stochastic is moving up but starting to plateau, but it's definitely starting to move up. IBM is still stuck in that end of that D Gartley region. NIO has been a great stock. Look at its technicals, support on the 200, resistance on the 200, bounce off the 200, resistance on the 50 for quite a while, lost the 200 but found support on the 50% Fibonacci, resistance on the 200, now resistance and then support on the 50. But the Chiku span here has dipped underneath the candles. That's not a good thing, but we know we've got some work ahead of us because the candle is in the cloud, and it's a fairly thick cloud at this point, but the cloud is getting thinner and resistance is less in the future, so NIO should do okay. Square, support on the 200, resistance on the 50. This stock did remarkably well this week. If you're holding on to Square and you've let your short calls be safe, mine are in the 250 area, and they expire next week. Not a lot of premium, but it's like getting a dividend. I think they're about $1, $1.50, not much more than that. But short calls on Square have just been fantastic throughout all of this motion down. And now, of course, we're looking to recover in our stocks. AT&T, just doing fine. Thank you very much. After the scare on the spin-off with Discovery of its Time Warner, worried about its dividend being cut. I don't think it's going to be cut in the third quarter, so we should be okay. Here's a new stock that I'm adding, SAVA, which is another play on Alzheimer's. They are going to report the results of their new Alzheimer's drug at a conference in Europe at the end of July. They wouldn't be doing that if they had bad results. That's what I'm thinking. So I purchased a call spread. I bought the August 60. I sold the August 80 for $4.90. That's $5 roughly on a $20 spread. That means that those options could be worth $15. So they'll go from paying $5 to rewarding me with $15. And I bought 5 of those, and I'm going to keep an eye on the Chiku span. And I'm going to continue to add to that position or develop another position because the analysts are all bullish on this stock. If you go to tip ranks, you'll see that. It's got a smart score of 10 on tip ranks and had good news this week. And they're calling for $80 on this stock. So that's where I pinned my short calls. US Bank is still doing well. MP, which we thought was an opportunity here buying at the 200, it still is. It's dipping, but it's moving higher. Chiku span is below the candles, which is why I have not gotten into this. ABBV suffered quite a bad week. I had my stock taken away from me last Friday, so this week I bought the stock again at 115 something, and I sold next week's 115 calls to give me a bit of leverage, and it looks like my 115 calls next week are going to be doing just fine. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry for that. I shouldn't have said that. They're doing just fine, and I should be able to get that premium and hold on to my stock. One last stock, or 6 minutes now, one last stock is Sono. And look at Sono. Look at Sono just trace the bottom of that cloud. But now it's popped above the 50, now below the 50. And where is the Chiku span? Resistance off the cloud and popping down. But look where it's headed to. Let's just draw an arrow here, and there's no reason to think that this isn't headed right to that weak spot right there. If you have a bit of extra money, Sono's a good stock.